Beryl, you ready to speak?
Yeah, no. I'll introduce you.
All right.
It's American Rap.
All right, I'd like to thank everybody for coming to the ribbon cutting for the Terrapin Skate Park. My name is Steve Chanley. I'm the director of the Department of Parks and Recreation. So welcome. It's been a great day. It's been a long time in coming. Obviously, we should have done this back in July when we first accepted the program, but we didn't have all the grounds that look really nice today. So, we thought we'd go ahead and delay it so it looks nice and green and get everything started. There's some guests I'd like to go ahead and introduce. I'd like to introduce County Administrator Todd Mon. We have several of our county commissioners here. We've got Chris Corcorino, Phil Dumanel, and Patrick McLaughlin. These guys will say a few words in just a few minutes, but I've got, like I said, I need to thank a bunch of people. First of all, I need to thank American Ramp Company. They're the ones who designed and built this this beautiful facility here, so hats off to them for that. I also need to thank my Parks and Recreation staff. Though they didn't build this part of it, everything green around here that you see is what they did. And unfortunately, timing was horrible for them because it was in the midst of the heat wave. When it was 100 degrees out here, these guys were planting trees, weeding, mulching, putting in the playground, planning the stormwater facilities, and and they did it without without complaining. They knew it was a great project ahead of us. So of that staff that's here, I've got Beryl Eismeyer, who's our project manager, who was in touch with American Ramp Company the whole time, kept them in tow, making sure that we had everything we needed and we met all the criteria. I also have Chris Jones here, who's our maintenance manager, him and his staff had led taking care of all of the plantings out here. So again, thank you guys. There are several other park staff. They're not here, but I think it's worthy of mentioning their name. Mike Watson, Robbie Blackiston, Brandon Eckert, Jeremy Marvel, Jonathan Mensch, Paul Jones, Brandon Milby, and Lee Gustafson. Those are the staff that have been involved. Not only did they get everything in, but it's also the maintenance part afterwards. So obviously, you plant in June or July, you got to take care of it. So we had staff that would come out here and water it 7 days a week to make sure that it survived. So thank you guys for all that. I think we all need to thank Maryland DNR POS, which is Program Open Space. There was a program called Local Parks and Playground Infrastructure Fund, and that is the major finance money where it came from to take care of this park. So without doing that project or having that grant ability, this project never would have come to fruition as quick as it did. And granted, I know it probably could have come a little quicker, but in the scheme of things, this was done relatively quickly. I'd also like to thank PRS Guitars. In fact, I just got a call from them today from Beverly Fowler, who's the Director of Artists and Community Relations, which is her in the back. I'm sorry. We want to thank her. We've been in contact with them. They'd like to make a donation, and so they're going to purchase a set of bleachers that we're going to set right over in this grassy area here. So thank you, PRS. So obviously, everybody's probably heard, kind of how this started or have a good idea of how everything went. It started, almost 2 years ago. Started by an online petition that was actually started by Violet Bodine, who's here with us. And also another young person, Dylan Cannon, who actually wrote a letter to the county administrator and to the county commissioners, and CC'd myself as well, again stating the importance of the need for a skate park. So as the commissioners receive that, they're asking me, well, what are you going to do about it? And I'm like, well, we'll invite them to a meeting and see exactly what the interest is. So we invited them to our Parks and Recreation Advisory Board meeting back in July. Wasn't sure how many folks were going to attend. We ended up getting over 50 people that came to that meeting, and they spoke, about the need for it. So we knew up front, this is a good project. And as I was telling someone the story earlier, I outlined the process of how it takes to get a project done. And without having the project, we didn't have it in our budget. We weren't planning for it. So there's a whole process. And, just by outlining that whole process and before the first shovel would be put into the ground, it would have been at least 3 years before we even broke ground. But fortunately, and I go back to DNR, that funding was kind of in the back of my pocket, and I was figuring out where to go and how to spend it. So we were able to pull a perfect storm, kind of aligned. Everything was together. So that was our funding source, and we were able to move things along significantly faster than before. So DNR or PRAB was thought it was a good idea. The commissioners, obviously, they thought it was a good idea. In addition to utilizing the POS money, there was some county funding that was also put into that. So thank you guys again for your support for that. We couldn't have done it without everybody participating. A little bit more. There was a group of parents that I had that I had maintained contact with throughout the entire process, and I'd like to just acknowledge them. Michelle Bodine, Karen Williams, Billy Preston from Central Skate Supply, Dan Polgreen from Roll Around Skate Shop, Eric Kaczmarek, Heather Bacher, Sean Napier, and Kristen Weed. And I, this was an email chain. This was an email chain that went on for like 2.5 years. And because they were so involved and were interested in it, I kept giving them information, letting them know exactly where we were with every step of the way, whether it was, a success or a failure. And there was a failure, believe it or not. I was overzealous in my first original date, thinking that we could pull this off and get it done by, I think it was July of 23 was my initial go-to date for construction. Well, unfortunately, we didn't get that. So then once I found out that we weren't going to be able to do that, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I gotta let these people know. These people are just going to run me across the bridge. But I'll tell you, I gave you guys the information, and it was great. I mean, there was nothing but positive comments about that. There wasn't a bad word written in email. Maybe behind the scenes there might have been, but everybody was very supportive and understanding of it, and I thank you guys for that. So moving right along, again, this is a great day today, finally getting this underway. It was a great program because it was a utilization of county-owned property. One of the things that was important to me was to make sure that this site was very visible. 25 years ago, the county had a kind of a makeshift skate park with some portable ramps and things like that, but it was hidden back and it kind of got a bad rap. So when we first were coming forward with this program, everybody remembered 25 years ago. And, we're telling them, no, it's not going to be that way. It's not going to be that way. We keep it visible. People can see it. And, the users will take care of it. And so far, I think, we've met that criteria. So, I'm happy to say that, being a part of the first permanent skate park in our county and for our department, I think that's great. I'm happy to be able to be the spokesperson for that. It's a non-traditional facility for us. I mean, usually we do, playgrounds, we do parks, we do fields, this is new to us, but as you can see, you know, there's a great need for it. You know, the interesting thing about skateboarding is, you know, it's not a team sport, but it's a team of support for individuals. You know, I've seen it where you know, a person is trying a trick. Unfortunately, I don't know all the lingo. my son would correct me if I tried. So I don't know all the lingo, but I see it happen. I've seen videos where, you know, they're trying to complete a task, can't do it, and there's failure, but everybody's watching, everybody's supporting you, and then when you get it, you know, there's high fives and clapping and, you know, attaboys. So it's cool to see that. It's very cool to see that, and it's, you know, it's very unique. So continuing on, you know, we started out with a survey. You know, we had 335 people return the survey. We had 150 the first 24 hours of it. And I think I've told this to other folks, you know, the most intriguing thing about it was most of our responses, 227 responses, were from people ages 19 to 49. And I wasn't sure if it was kids filling it out for their younger siblings or parents filling it out for their kids. But I drive by and I see guys, you know, with more gray in their beards than mine, and they're out here skating. So, you know, the survey was right. It was very accurate. So, you know, just kind of, you know, I can sit up here and talk about it for a while, but it's been a, you know, I'll say a labor of love for this, you know. My wife and son have heard all the ups and downs of the program. You know, how good it is, how I missed the date, how we got the date, how, you know, we're having this. So, you know, thank you. I'll have to come up with new stories in a new project.
Already.
That's right. But anyway, you know, they knew everything, every step of the way. But you know, April 21st was our day that we broke ground. Construction started. You know, I was pushing April 1. I was telling all of our permits folks, it's got to be April 1. It's got to be April 1. We're pushing for that. April 1 comes along, and it rains 5 inches. In the second, it rains another 3 inches. So I was like, oh, you know, all that sweating for, you know, for rain to come. A week later, we get the project started. We accepted the project on June 21st, which coincidentally, and I didn't know this, was National Go Skateboarding Day. Dan, thank you for that information. That was a hard one. But anyway, we've got some more improvements that we're looking to do here. If you look over in this area over here, the 4 stakes, there's going to be a plumbed bathroom in there, so we won't have a porta-john here. We've got the bleacher seating, again, thanks to PRS for that. That's going to go right here. And then we're going to continue to explore some possibility of some type of shade structure for the facility. So the last thing I would say, wrapping this up, is, you know, a couple things to remember. Respect the site, respect the neighbors, because they were worried, and so far, I'm gonna knock on wood, they have been very quiet, which is a good thing. So we haven't upset them. Make sure you park in the parking lot here. There will be no parking signs placed up into the cul-de-sac, so just kind of giving you guys the heads up on that. And one last thing about parking, please do not park along the roadway here. To me, that's just an accident waiting to happen. So, you know, we can make this work, and it has been working. So let's just continue on with that. Have fun, keep it clean. And last thing I'll say is, you know, my priority was, you know, if we were going to do something, you know, I wanted to do it right. I didn't want to do it halfway. You know, I didn't want to do the mobile facility. You know, I wanted something permanent, and, you know, I think we got it, and it's turned out really well. So enough listening to me, and I'll turn it over to the commissioners. So again, thank you all for being here.
So when I was a kid growing up skateboarding, dew was the drink of skaters back then, a long time ago. Now I imagine it's like Monster or something like that. But just to reiterate what Steve said, I think the inclusion of the youth that were so excited about this skate park, being involved in the process of the design and what the end result was going to look like, is really what's made it special. And I think that's great that Steve had the opportunity to mention some of the folks that committed their time and their patience to get this project to where it is today. I'm excited for the kids. I truly believe that they're going to take good care of it, and I hope they get the chance to enjoy it for years to come. I'm gonna go ahead and make it a commitment that I think the next thing that we need to do here after we get a pavilion and the bathroom put in, it'd be nice if we had a pump track. Yeah? I think we need a pump track here to go with it so the bicyclists can enjoy themselves. Pump track? Yeah? Sure. Anyway.
All right. I just want to thank all the youth of Queen Anne's County for coming forth and making this happen. And I think you showed a lot of adults in Queen Anne's County how the process works, because we have a lot of people who like to complain and then not take action. You guys took action, and that's how local government works. We're supposed to be responsive to what the citizens want. So you guys are awesome. Thank you.
So Commissioner
It's Dumanel.
Corcorino. Violet and her parents and I were just talking, and we thought a cafe would probably be more important than a biking area. Do we agree on the cafe over here? So, but we'll take the bathroom too. And thanks for the stands. Can we give it up again for the Parks and Rec folks who did all this? Great job. So I'll be brief. I ran into one of the former commissioners that did the skate park 25 years ago when these two guys were in elementary school, and they want to take credit for this. They said, we started it, we want to take credit for this, but we're not going to let that happen, right? So thanks everyone for coming out. We're very grateful. Thanks again for the kids and for the moms for supporting this. And thanks for respecting all the people on this road here so that they don't give us any phone calls. And we're just excited about the next future for Queen Anne's County. Thank you, folks.
So before we do the official ribbon cutting, I'd like to ask Violet to come up. So here's a little token of our appreciation. You get first choice. Because Dylan's not here. Dylan is the next one that would have been here. That's all yours.
Thank you.
Thank you again. We appreciate it very much.
Of course, yeah. This is like a dream come true for me.
You wanna say a few words?
You want to say? No?
I will tell you, yes, for the bridge over Route 50. So we're working on it.
Connect with it.
When you guys cut it, it will be official. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
Good job, man.